DePriest, how the heck are you, Bill?
Good.
It's good to see you, man.
Glad to be here.
Mike Bond.
Good to see you, Phil.
Man, it is so nice to be here. First of all, boys, thank you for taking time out of what has to be a super busy time for you to have me in. It's really an honor to be here today.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And secondly, wow, what a show. I can't wait. I hear from so many of my friends, so many people in the industry. This is the show in Southern California. Congratulations to both you guys for building this thing and maintaining it. And not only maintaining it, my favorite coach in college football, Lou Holtz, when he was number one at Notre Dame, said, the biggest mistake I ever made is when I got to number one, I said, now we need to maintain it. And he said, you got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And you boys are doing that. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're super thankful. I mean, we wouldn't have the show without all the support of the vendors and the attendees. And, you know, Mike and I can be great salespeople and we can put together a great show, but if we didn't have the support, we wouldn't be there.
You know, we talked a little bit before we started this when I got my professional camera stuff all together with the paper towel thing and everything.
Looks good.
Yes, you were very impressed. Thank you.
Thank
you. You can actually be very sincere and fake me out with that. But I got to tell you, man, so many people are so excited about this show. So can we get some of the stuff out of the way up front? And that is, can I buy tickets online? Where do I go to do that? What are the hours of the show? Where is it? All of that stuff.
Yeah, so it's March 6th through 9th at the OC Fair and Event Center. You can go online and buy tickets at sportfishingfestival.com. You can buy them at the door. They're $20. We kept that price. You know, we haven't raised anything the last few years. And yeah, we want to make sure that people bring out their families, their kids, you know, it's all about getting the youth into fishing, and that's with our trout ponds and our live bands and the gold panning and the falconry and God, we have so many things for the kids. Jay from Prehistoric Pets with all the reptiles.
Jeez.
Try to make it fun for the family, not just for the
hardcore fishermen.
Exactly. That's probably the biggest thing for us is I think our original show years ago was more based around that hardcore fishermen. And now what we've done is we have seminars based from beginning, you know, the surf fishing, the trout fishing, the bass fishing, all the way up through sword fishing. So we want everyone to come, no matter if they are a super experienced angler, if they're brand new, if they take their grandson once every year. Those are the folks. We want everyone to come out and take a look.
Yeah, my God. And the seminars, Mike, you guys have many great seminars. We were talking about some of the surf fishing seminars. Benji Kim is a guy I just did a podcast with.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. Bill Varney's going to be there. You have some guys up north. But that just scratches the surface of all the seminars you're going to have.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and having some more of the sport boat stuff too. You know, we have so much support from all the sport boat landings from San Diego up to Santa Barbara that we really have brought out more and more seminars and top captains and brought that connection of the sport boat fleet back with the public again.
Yeah, you know, Bill, that is something that I think people sometimes realize and don't realize, but you can come to the show to learn stuff. You can come to the show to book a trip, but you can also come and see the captain that put you on your best bite of your lifetime and reminisce about those good times and run into Joe Schmo, who you were fishing with last year and you hadn't seen him since that great trip. That's a big part of it, the community that this is bringing together.
Yeah, besides the economic impact and all of the sales that happen there, it's that gathering of people who have a passion for the outdoors. You know, we need to have that gathering place. We need to get together and raise money for CCA of California to defend our rights to fish. And, you know, if we don't keep that community together and we don't bring in the youth and stuff, we just, it'll be a failing deal.
Yeah, 100%. How important, you know, this is just on a different level. Before I get into the Shimano booth, which sounds incredible, before I get into the trout pond, Danny Cadota's going to do that. How important do you believe? You've got kids, Mike's got kids, I've got grown kids, but I had them in the outdoors since they were 2 years old. How important is it today with kids scrolling on TikTok to get into the outdoors? Mentally, physically, all of those things. What do you think?
Yeah, like you said, for mental health and all of that. I know my 3 boys, they've grown up, you know, is all they want to do is go out the front door and go search around for stuff. They want to be fishing, they want to be hunting, they want to be shed hunting. They would prefer that over any video game, any TV, any phone. I'm not going to say that if they're laying in bed, they're not playing around on their phones.
Of course.
But if they had a choice on a Saturday morning to go up and shed hunt in the mountains or to sit on their phones, they would choose every single time to be in the forest.
Yeah, and that is so important, right?
Yeah. I have the same problem, though. I wish, you know, living in San Clemente, my little people, they're either playing sports or they're at home doing homework, but all their buddies have these screens and these video games, and they're constantly like, hey, he has it, I want it. And we made the mistake of going out and buying the little Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And that literally is a drug. We have to pull
Mike
it away.
is a great dad. He's got his kids out hiking up in the anything he can do looking for reptiles and
But
stuff.
it is paramount.
He gets them
It's
out.
paramount, right?
Yeah.
I think it is a battle.
And you're up against the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're up against
Right.
peer group pressure
Yep,
and
for
everything
sure.
else, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that a lot of that responsibility lies in us to take these kids to do it in an opportunity that's actually a great way to introduce them. So I used to write an article about every other year about introducing kids to fishing, and the biggest thing was the kids don't need to catch a tuna. They don't need to catch a yellowtail. You need to go pull them out on the kelp line and let them jig up mackerel. You need to go pull them out there and let them catch wide open 10-inch calico bass and catch and release. They need to see action, which is why that trout pond's such a cool experience.
Yes.
So many dads, grandfathers, single moms that are too nervous to take their kid out to a lake, because 90% of the time they'll sit there and catch nothing because they don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
So this is a great opportunity to do that, but it's so important. I know a lot of people that grew up that I've taken fishing as adults that'll tell me, I never got into it as a kid because my grandpa took me, we went and sat at a lake with a bobber, never had a bite. We did that 20 times. I loved my grandpa. I loved spending time with him, but I never liked fishing.
Yep. The thousands of kids we took when I had 97610, we did the youth fishing program with Don Ashley. Huge help from Don Ashley over at Pier Point Landing. And the guys that would volunteer were great, fantastic, but they're kind of hardcore fishermen. And they would always say to me, let's go, we'll go kill the barracuda and get a yellowtail. And I go, we're staying inside the harbor.
Yep.
No one's going to get seasick.
Right.
Everybody's going to catch a mackerel.
They're going to have a good time.
And these kids, but we could catch a giant barracuda. And I go, look at the kids' faces when they catch a tomcod.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. We used to really, when I took out other families that were friends with my kids when they were real young, we had a whole policy of how we did things. We'd come out of Newport, drop down to number 1, number 2 spot, catch fish. If any kids started looking a little off, we would pull up the anchor, we'd go full speed, go look for dolphins and whales, get air in their faces. They never knew what even happened.
Right.
And once they got that confidence back, then we'd slide back in, catch some more fish, and we had this policy of how it worked, and we never had people have that bad experience.
Brilliant. I love it. By the way, boys, I've got a 6-month grandson, and
That's awesome.
Philip, you better make this happen.
Need to bring him.
Tell him Sunday mornings, we're hoping to be at the show with Bowden, and I want to film him catching his first
That'd be awesome.
at the
That'd be cool.
PCS show.
That'll be awesome. I think Danny Cadota's granddaughter
Danny's
caught
gonna
her
be
first.
there.
Didn't she catch her first trout at our show?
Yeah, in fact, I videotaped that.
Yeah.
And Danny's been talking on his show, and just to me in general, I can't wait. I can't wait to take the grandkids.
It is such a
again.
fun place to take your kids. So my kids will show up on Saturday. I hand them $100. Mikey and Lily will run out. They'll go to CCA. They go to Rollo, and they like the
drawings,
the
and the
wheels, right?
Sure.
And they
The
win. They
gambling wheels.
they're constantly coming home with jigs and rods and reels. Last year, I think they won 2 Zebco trout outfits. Yeah, they have a ball, and it's very secure. So it's not saying you just let your kids run wild, but you can let them when they're 12 and 10, so they can kind of wander around on their own. It's very family friendly.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk just for a moment about the Shimano booth, because you guys teased that to me. It sounds phenomenal.
It's amazing. So I saw like a draft of a drawing of it, and they actually went down to San Diego, took measurements of the rail on some of the sport fishing boats. And then they have a pneumatic train that it's a rail that goes around the rear of the boat. So they're building a boat, the rear of a boat in their booth, and it will have a track on it, and it's pneumatic. So you'll be able to fight a fish and go up and over other anglers on the back of it with drag pulling and like hook up and right?
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It will be truly probably one of the coolest things around, but everybody's got big booths. Pure Fishing, Berkeley, Penn, all those guys, they're all, Daiwa has a giant booth. Okuma has, there's a couple buildings that are almost like ICAST, a little bit.
Yeah, they bring their full
They're
structured
full
out
structured
giant booths. Yeah.
Yeah, from ICAST. So it's pretty cool.
How many booths are there at the show?
So 10 by 10s, I got to look at the numbers again. I think we're right around 600 or just
Wow.
over 600.
Wow.
But that doesn't count the large Okumas and the Daiwas, and those are just 10 by 10s.
Yeah.
And then all the bulk space with all the boats, hundreds of boats, and it's pretty wild. It's been a neat experience.
You literally almost can't see it all in a day. I mean,
No,
I'm
you
sure
need 2
you can,
days.
but
I think if
Right?
you're a serious angler that you have a passion for the fishing, I would plan a couple of days. I would plan on maybe bringing your kids on Saturday for a shorter window, but maybe hitting those weekdays to do the hardcore days with you and your buddies.
Yeah.
Maybe bring the family back on Sunday, but do the hardcore day without them. But yeah, there's enough to see there for multiple days. And the seminars are different every day. So there's a good value in a ticket every single day that you come to get the value of the learning experience, the bands, the food, the retailers all have specials.
Yeah.
The amount of retailers, I think we have a dozen major retailers.
Right. Wow.
So we have a retail hub, a main retail vendor or 2 in every single building. The specials are supposedly the best of the year. Berkeley's doing their same thing where if you buy any reel over $50 from any manufacturer, it does not need to be a Penn reel or an Abu Garcia reel. They put free Spectra in their booth on those reels that are bought at the show. So I think last year, what did you say, 1,300 reels?
They spooled up 1,300 reels.
Multi-miles of line.
300 miles of braid.
All right, I'm putting the over-under line this year at 1,500.
I would
What's
imagine.
your bet? I'm going over.
Yeah, they have.
I bet you it's going to be more than that. This year's going to be wild.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I think people didn't believe it was real.
Yeah.
Right.
I had trouble believing it was real. When we
Yeah.
were talking to Justin and the guys out at ICAST, I literally told Mike like 3 times, I'm like, I need them to email me that in writing.
Yeah.
Because I need to make sure that we don't put out something that's incorrect and then we're responsible. Because
Right.
it's a lot of money's worth of line that they're putting on people's reels
Yeah.
for no charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I think this year they'll have 10 or 11 line winding machines working,
Oh
and it's
my
24/7. So you buy your reel, you can buy it anywhere you want at the show,
Yeah.
and then you bring it over and drop it off. They give you a ticket, and you just come, you go shopping, hang out with your buddies, grab a beer,
God,
come
that
back,
is such a great
and it'll be
deal.
waiting ready for
Yeah,
you.
so you can still shop with whichever retailer you love. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people will come there and they have a specific retailer that they enjoy buying their product
Sure.
from, which is the whole point of these small, independently owned tackle stores, is the fact that you talk to the guy you know and you get
Yeah.
the knowledge you're looking for. It's not just about a deal. And I think that gives them the environment to buy from whoever they enjoy buying from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. A lot of my guys out there, and gals for that matter, are saltwater fishermen.
Sure.
So they want to see the long range boats, or they want to go to the landings that they like to frequent.
Yep.
Man, they're all there, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah,
It's pretty dark.
Yes, from Santa Barbara all the way to San Diego, every single one of them's there. Almost.
that is fantastic.
And
there's
a lot of the big boats are there too. XL, who do we got? The Intrepid, the Indy,
Independence.
a lot of them. The same 22nd Street's got a big, they got a bunch of their boats there too.
And then there's a bunch of 4-pack boats for the guys that enjoy doing the smaller, more intimate trips for the tuna. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, adventure
Or white sea
travel.
bass,
I mean,
adventure
everything from
travel.
Costa Rica to Baja to Alaska to British Columbia. We got
Montana,
Montana
fly
now.
fishing.
Yeah, we've got a whole contingent of Eastern Sierra people coming.
Yeah, the freshwater thing is building and
Yeah.
building and building.
It's
People
grown
have
a
been
lot.
telling me for years,
Yeah.
that's a bigger market. You should be covering that. And one of these days, unless I croak, and that's imminent. Let me tell you, Bill, I'm getting old.
We are.
We all
gonna
are.
Croak. I don't know if we'll croak, but we'll all pass away.
Yeah. Anyway, the freshwater thing at your shows is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is everything from the small plastics to the little jig heads and the custom trout lures to the large swim baits.
Yeah.
The big 10-inch swim baits for giant bass, and the guys who manufacture them and the guys who actually fish them, who can show you the techniques. They're there.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, Max Sporting Goods from Bishop.
Yeah.
He's got the world famous Max Sporting Goods, right?
Yeah.
He came and he brought a bunch of flies. He didn't think he was going to sell them, but he sold a couple hundred flies.
Wow.
Right. So now he's got a whole table of flies.
He's bringing fly rods this year.
Yeah, fly rods, a whole bit.
Bunch of
Yeah,
family stuff.
It's
Yeah,
really fun to
he's-
see the progression of people. Certain influencer guys that have their clothing brand, and they had a 10-footer, and they were asking you questions about how to set up their booth and make it, the measurements and everything. And now they have a 30-foot booth, right? Over the course of just 3
To
years.
watch them grow.
To watch them grow.
That's got to give you some satisfaction.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that when you're walking these buildings, there are
Every
so
10
many 10 by 10s, and they're all awesome industry products These are all small, a lot of them are small, independent, mom and pop type shops that make plastic lures, whatever it is, their shirts, their, pliers, their holsters, whatever it is. If you take the time to look at all the products, which I would recommend going slow and looking at everything so you don't miss something, that's really what makes this show so unique, is there are so many of these 10 by 10s. Like Mike and I said, we love the big manufacturers, and without them, we don't have an industry.
Yeah.
But it is so cool to see a guy and his wife stand in a booth and sell their product that they're so proud of, and we bring this giant crowd for them to show off to, and we're very proud of that.
Yeah, the energy and the vibe of the main mall with the barbecue and the smell of the barbecue and the live music and the 8 different buildings now, and you can go in and cruise around and then sit on a picnic bench and listen to some live music, have a cold salty crew beer, and listen to the music. It's unbelievable.
Salty Crew beer is the sponsor.
Coronado Brewing, and they'll have Salty Crew beer there. They'll have a couple of their different beers.
Yeah, they have a nice little
fantastic
a social hub,
and it looks like it's going to be warm this weekend, so there will be some
beer drinking
some
weather.
Beverages.
Yeah.
Some beverages.
I think one of our most amazing accomplishments really is the reptile. I know this is going to sound goofy.
It's not. It's
the
not.
reptile petting zoo.
Literally, when you mentioned that, I'm like, that's
you can hold a python.
Well,
you can hold a gopher snake. You can hold a king
bitchin'.
snake.
And
a tarantula.
I thought it would be just for the kids. And it's funny, you go over there and there's a heck of a lineup of adults waiting to get in there to see the
taking
stuff.
selfies,
hilarious.
right?
Yeah, same with the falconry.
The falconry lady.
Yeah,
right. The whole thing, that whole corner over there. There's a big section now. There's a food court there. You can go gold panning, right? And the falconry lady, the pets,
and then our trout ponds. So we have Mikey from Official Business Outdoors is his company.
Yeah.
He's been running my trout ponds for years. Him and his wife Terry, amazing people. They bring their kids out. They truly have a passion for helping the kids get fishing. And this year we're going to have some lightning trout in there. I don't think anyone's ever had Kids Trout Ponds with a few lightning trout in.
I don't think so.
We're having I think it's like a hybrid of a steelhead and a regular rainbow that are going to be our normal trout in there. Yeah, so we kind of make that a little more special, a little more unique.
And it's going to be a little bit of a Berkeley trout derby too, right? So I think we're going to have prizes. You catch one of those lightning trout or a specific tag trout, you're going to get a little prize.
That is freaking awesome,
cool.
man. Part of, I went to Taiwan and they had these fishing ponds where you fish for shrimp.
In the buildings, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they have ones with groupers and stuff
they
too,
do,
though.
and I did that
my
too.
buddy goes over there all the time.
But part of it was, if you get a fish with a red tag, you get X amount of, and it's like adds a layer of.
Oh, that's cool.
So same thing you guys are talking about.
Right.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I loved it. Seminars, how about that one more time again? Beginning to expert?
Everything from surf fishing to your first time up in the Sierras catching trout. There'll be some local trout stuff, which would be like the Santa Ana River Lakes and, some techniques for that. All the way up to the Steve Lasleys and we have Carl coming out this year, the Air Pilikia. He was out last year. He flies a plane for the commercial Swordfish Harpoon fleet.
Yep.
And he sees the conditions from the sky. I mean, what he's seeing is 100-fold what we see on our boats.
Yeah.
And the amount of water he's covering daily, his knowledge is immense. And having him and Steve Lasley, who everybody knows is the GOAT, right. Putting those two on the stage is just so cool. And the Pinnacle guys, Dwayne Diego and Brandon Hayward with the Bite, these are guys who run multiple boats every day during the season. If they're going to pick up on a small intricacy that's going to help you catch more bluefin or more white sea bass or whatever it is, these are the guys that are going to know it.
Yep, and Mike, you and Bill, you and I, we all know that you walk on a sport boat, you go fishing, and there's those 4 or 5 or 6 guys
always getting them
that are catching most of the fish, and that's because they have some knowledge. They have, right?
So we have a bunch of long-range captains. We have the Captain's Concepts guys who actually have a service that they do exactly that. They show people what's going on before they get on the boats. They have multiple seminars. We have all the jigging stuff. The jigging's so hot nowadays.
Trout seminars. We have the guys from who won Kyle Grover, who won the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
The bass tournament guys. We have bass, trout, surf fishing, all of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. One of the things about doing a YouTube channel is I get people from around the world pretty much, and I've been getting people from Utah, from Florida, who are telling me, I'll see you at the show.
Wow.
I'll see you at the show. Paulina Varela is a young lady in Ensenada, Baja California. Her mom has a dock down there where they have sport boats and everything else called Botes Juanitos. When are you going to be at the show, Phil? I'm coming up.
cool.
Mom's
Right on.
coming.
That's
We're coming
cool.
from Ensenada.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, when are you going to be there? Whenever you're going to be there, I'll meet you there. So
Yeah.
I'll be walking around the show on
There's-
camera with her for a
that
little
is
bit.
that is very cool. They were coming up for that.
You guys got to be aware of that, though. Do you hear from people from around the
Well,
world, pretty
the,
much?
Yeah.
the jigging companies from Japan, and I mean, we have companies coming from all over the world to be a part of this show.
Yeah.
I think it's become the place to introduce the West Coast or even the U.S. to brand new products.
Yeah.
You know, you have Accurate's coming out with a new reel. Daiwa, I think, has a new
new
rod.
Proteus rod.
They launched a brand new reel last year that had never been seen in the country. There's new colors to all these different lures that are unique to just being shown for the first time. The list goes on and on of people launching new product to the public at our show, which is what an honor.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
To have these giant companies and even these smaller companies decide that our show is so important to them and we bring such a fantastic crowd that that's where they want to put their very first launch. You know, what do they say? First impressions are everything.
Yeah.
That's the spot where they get their first impression.
It is so good. You know, talking off camera, you know, when I was talking to these guys off camera, the level of gratitude that I notice in both of you for the people who are buying booths at the show and the public who come to the show, I got to tell you that is a really beautiful thing, boys. It really
Yeah.
is.
Well, I think you look back and, you know, like I said, it doesn't matter how great of salespeople Mike and I are or how well we structure this show. If you don't have the support of the industry and you don't have the support of the attendees, there is no show. You know, my small family business does not survive without that. So we just are humbled and thankful by the amount of support. It's humbling. The amount of people that contact us to be a part of what we're doing that have heard great things through people that are already vendors is
Really, the groundswell's been pretty
Astounding.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like on Friday morning, we have Glenn Hughes from the ASA. He's doing a breakfast for ASA with a bunch of the
industry breakfast.
an industry breakfast, right? That's something normally you would do at the ICAST show. He's coming out here from Florida to put that on. We have the War Heroes deal on Friday night. We have a CCA function on Saturday night. There's something every night going
Yeah,
on.
the War Hero thing that we do, this will be our third year doing it. I've been involved in that for a long time. Anthony's
Yeah.
a good friend of mine. I've been on the boats multiple times with these guys. Absolutely unbelievable experience. So we decided once we grew the show to the size it was that we needed to give back. So Friday night we do this vendor get together that's to benefit War Heroes on Water. And I think the last 2 years our total is over $100,000 just in 2 nights.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
we're
a
so
really
proud of
fun
it.
event. You know, the guys, there's live music.
Yeah, we bring our band. The main band that's at the show the whole time, they come in and do this private event just for our vendors.
Yeah.
That and the In-N-Out deal.
Oh.
So I don't know any show around the country. We bring in the In-N-Out food trucks on Tuesday.
It's a
and-
60-foot semi, a giant, beautiful,
Yeah,
like
with the-
polished chrome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the fries and everything. And they come out and we tell the vendors while they're setting up, why don't you guys come out? We're covering dinner for you guys. And we just try to make it the best experience and show how thankful we are that they're willing to spend. Again, like Mike and I talk all the time, these people that are writing a check to us for this booth space, a lot of times it's straight from their family fund. It's straight from their small family business.
Right.
There's a big responsibility for us to make that environment successful for them, and we take it very seriously.
Yeah, In-N-Out Burgers. Go ahead, Mike.
Have you been there in the morning for the national anthem?
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's fantastic.
When everybody comes out of the booths and the building's all empty
Take
and
their
everybody's
hat off.
Yep, it is really special.
The raising of the flag on
Last
the,
year we had an impromptu flyby with a jet that
fighter
went
jet
over.
came over.
Oh,
Everyone's
God.
like, wow,
Whoa,
you guys are
pulled that
amazing.
off. And we're like, yeah, we got that done.
Yeah, you guys got that organized
Yeah.
again this year?
Yeah, we'll see.
It's going to be a radio controlled one this year.
Wow.
A mini one.
That kind of patriotism is
Yeah.
something that I completely admire. Every
Yeah.
morning briefing, I have
Yeah.
the U.S. flag on there,
Right.
flying, and
It's important.
Very
it is,
grateful.
right? Because
important.
we live in the greatest country on the face of the
And
earth.
we're doing what we love. We're in the fishing business. Come on, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
How bad can it be?
100%, man. I can't wait for this show. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
You know, all of us have been fortunate enough to have fished around the world. I've actually lived in China and Costa Rica and Mexico and fished all those places. The amount of booths at the show that could open the door to a new country to fish in, it's
travel
amazing.
booths.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think you haven't talked about the rod wrapping. There's
Yeah,
a
what's
whole,
wrong with you?
a whole
We talked about
community.
that.
So the other thing is,
Thank you.
Bill Batson, he was one of our first supporters as far as the rod building side.
Yes.
He came to me a long time ago and said, hey, I really want to get involved in this. I want to do something big at your show. We don't really have a rod building show on the West Coast, and we really need something. And he jumped in with both feet. He's grown his booth into a giant booth. We have Darren from 310 Rodworks jumped in and got very serious about working with us.
Both those guys.
You know, the Fuji Guides guys. We were actually with Bill Falconer on a podcast yesterday. Just all these mud hole, all these companies and independent rod builders have now made this their West Coast rod building show.
Yeah.
So there's displays the whole time. I know Tiffany is going to be out with vague rods. So there's all of these displays of them wrapping rods in Batson's booth. The stage that was behind the Huntington Beach building that was the Daiwa stage has now become the rod building stage for seminars.
Yeah.
That stage moved into the new Pacific building. We've added an 8th building this year. It's a steel structure that's going to go up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we'll be ready Wednesday for our vendors to move in. But yeah, it's just become a giant segment, and it'll blow you away how much knowledge is there and how many of these world famous rod builders fly in from other countries and stuff to show displays. It's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
They are like little mini works of art, really.
Yeah, they
Amazing.
truly are.
Well, and they're doing a rod building contest this year. I think there's 11 rods being built that'll be judged, and then those are being donated to the War Heroes on Water deal that we're raising money with. So
That is
again,
fantastic.
super cool.
Yeah.
Great support.
Sam De La Torre does a show. We do Tackle Shop Confessions every Monday Night Live, and he's all about
He's involved in the rod building.
Yeah.
stuff.
Totally
Heck
into
yeah.
that. He's totally excited about the show, by the way.
Yeah.
He keeps telling me, I can't wait to get that done. And I go over there, man. He's pulling his hair out trying to get everything organized.
Takes
It's
him a
lot
few
of work.
weeks, I'm sure.
You know, that's the thing. When I used to do a booth all the time, I would do that, and I'd be losing my hair. There's so much to do. And then I look at you two guys. You guys are responsible for 600 booths. I don't know how you do it, honestly.
A lot. Well, the good thing is, you know, the support's been so great. We're able to sell the show out early, which gives Mike and I the time to really sit down and focus on the intricacies of things that we want to make sure to improve on every year. You know, suggestions that people have given us. We're always trying to not only grow the show, but improve the show every single year for a better experience for the vendors and the attendees.
Yeah. If a person's interested in purchasing a boat, is this a good show to come to for that?
We have
was gonna-
little softball question there for you.
Every dealer on the coast down here. We have boats coming down. Steiger Craft is bringing down boats. They've never been to a show down here. We have our giant Parker dealer. We have everything from Mag Bay yachts, giant 38-foot center consoles. I mean, I couldn't
Everglades,
even list them all.
Invincible, yeah.
It's. I think we have how many
21 dealers with
representing 60 brands or something
Yeah.
like
Oh my
that.
God.
Every sport fishing, every bass boat, every small aluminum, including Hobie kayaks. You know, it's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they more likely to wheel and deal at a show like this
I think-
or not? Yeah?
Yeah, I think they have show specials.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I know
would think
Yamaha
so.
has some incredible like extended warranty programs that they're offering. And
Yamaha, Suzuki,
Right.
Mercury.
Mercury came with a
Volvo
factory booth.
Penta. You know, all of these engines are
yeah,
there.
man engine company. Then we have a whole 2 rows of electronics, like every major manufacturer: Garmin, Furuno, Navico, Simrad, Lowrance. I'm probably Furuno. I'm leaving them out, but we have.
It's probably the question we receive the most is, will they actually have a manufacturer booth, or is it just a guy selling it to you?
Right.
They each have a large manufacturer booth. So you are talking to manufacturer reps, you're talking to people that are experts at these machines, and you're talking to Johnson Hicks that they actually sell it and install it. So you've got a combination of knowledge in one place to choose your electronics that you probably won't see anywhere else on the West Coast.
Yeah, sure. And if you own one of those products and you have a little trouble figuring it out,
Yep.
this is
That's
the
the
time
place.
to go say, hey,
Right.
how do I do this?
What do I do?
Right,
Yeah.
and the mystery of forward-facing sonar, right?
Yeah, right.
That can be explained there. They're, you know, the people, they have a lot of their pro staff and influencer people in the booth too that are really
using the products.
Yeah, they're using the products. They know how to use them really well.
Yeah, before we get back to the show, which I'm not through with the show quite yet, but I'm not letting you get away with this. You think that the A word,
Oh, no.
you think that it's going to happen this year?
Yes,
You're
for
trying to take away my
For
my
sure.
thunder.
Hold on. For
Yeah.
sure. I can
Stealing my
guarantee
thunder.
the A word Anchovies are here. The anchovies are actually here, and they're here for the season.
Yeah.
Now, what A word follows the anchovies, I'm not going to discuss.
I hope it doesn't have anything to do with me, that A word.
the
Sometimes
anchovies
people
are
use
here.
I
it.
said we do a you Bundy. We
The
need
bait
albacore.
receivers have anchovies. And if you remember like I do when you were a kid trying to cast a 3-inch anchovy on 15-pound test
To
with a
catch
rubber
what?
And a Daiwa
To catch
SL
what?
to catch line.
a tuna that had a little longer fin on its sides. If you can learn how to cast that anchovy again, I will tell you, I think I would start looking into buying some lighter tackle. I would look into buying some lighter, longer rods, some reels that can handle smaller line with super free spool to swim these smaller baits. I would start learning how to cast, because everybody that grew up casting these giant baits is going to have a heck of a time when you pull up on a breezer of albacore trying to, if you pull up on a breezer of tuna and you have to cast an anchovy, no matter if it's a bluefin or what you're casting at, it's just something that you need to learn how to do.
let it slip out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I hope they come back. I grew up on that. My dad and
We all
I have
did, right?
so many memories of my dad and I on our private boat, just going out, and it makes so many people great fishermen and so many captains heroes.
You imagine what it would do for the industry? It would get crazy.
Do you
It
remember
would be-
Friday nights down in San Diego?
Oh
when
my
you
God.
you pulled into the
Hustle.
parking lot and the lights are all going and people are coming off, people are going on, the rod bundles.
Yep.
Hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love that.
There was an air of excitement,
Yeah.
right?
They're going to come back. Maybe it's not this
Yes.
year. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's a
just
couple
like the
years from
bluefin,
now.
right? The
Yep.
100-year cycle.
Oh, yeah.
But what would be really cool, though, the ultimate experience would be to go out, be able to catch albacore, and then slide offshore a little further to try to find some trophy fish.
Yeah.
And then hit a
that would
deep
be
drop
perfect.
swordfish on your way
And then
in.
come in and slide into Newport Canyon and catch a deep drop swordfish on your way in. That's the
On your
ultimate
private
dream.
boat.
That's the ultimate dream.
You guys are pros at catching the deep
This guy
drop,
right here.
swordfish.
He could write a book.
That has become something. Is there anything you can learn at the show about that?
Yeah, so that's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
I ran charters for him for a few years, and we had some amazing success. Is we have a Thursday evening one with Bryce Herman and Jake Clinshaw, and they're both experts at the deep drop stuff. It's not for everybody, but that swordfish to me is the ultimate pinnacle of a fish that you can catch, and to be able to do it 2-3 miles off of Newport on your own boat, and you don't need a yacht. You can do it off we caught my 13-year-old, he was 12 at the time. His first one a couple years back on Halloween, we got him a 370 pounder out of an 18-foot Parker.
Wow.
So yeah, you don't need a big boat to do it. You need patience, and you
Yes.
need to, be that person who really listens to what people are telling you, because people are putting the knowledge out, but you've got to, I tell people all the time, I think you've got to turn some of your fishing knowledge off. You've got to stop trying to lay your baits where the bait is. You need to just follow what the guys do, and you'll catch swordfish.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing that we can do that here. Was that adapted from the Florida fishery and then brought here, or how did that work out?
So,
The evolution of that.
they did that in Venezuela. They did it in Florida. I used to fly back during some of the seasons almost every weekend and go back and commercial fish with my buddy back there.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do the deep drop back there. My first one was a 300 pounder, the first drop I ever made in Florida.
Are you kidding me?
And then we came back out here and tried those techniques. And what we figured out was that the swordfish don't live at the same depths. They don't feed the same way here. In the Gulf Stream, they're feeding, a lot of them are feeding in the bottom. They're rooting around for shrimp and stuff. Our animals are eating a lot of that hake and bait that's just a different depth. So we've spent, I think, a year. We did 20 trips, and we hooked one and lost it. That was back in maybe 05, something like that. But as soon as Flager and these guys started doing the tagging research, and we started seeing where these fish are actually living, we adjusted our baits to those depths. And the first day that I got on them really good with my dad, and this is with the help of, Nate over on the Bear Flag, Mike Maddox, a bunch of people that I included my knowledge from Florida and knowledge with some of these guys. My first day with my dad that we got on them, we caught 3 by 1 o'clock. And we got blown off the water at 1 o'clock, and I was just like, it was eye-opening.
Yeah.
And then we started running charters for them, and our success rates were incredible. I have one group that in the couple of years they fished with me caught 4 for
That
group.
is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I'm so fascinated by the tagging that goes on. I was talking to Bill Boyce. He's down in Panama right now.
Yeah,
at
at Tropic Star. Yeah.
Lodge, and he's been tagging black marlin with Guy Harvey.
Yeah.
And
that's
he
cool.
mentioned to me they just tagged one like a couple of weeks ago out in front of their place, like 6 miles out there on the Zane Grey Reef,
That's
right?
right.
You got it. And he said a week later, that thing's beelining for the Galapagos, and we see it come up, and we get a satellite.
So cool.
It's
That's so
fascinating,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It
that
really
is really
and
cool.
truly
So
is.
cool.
That's kind of part of this also when you have kids. If you can push them academically, if they get into the outdoors, they naturally gravitate toward wanting to learn more about all this.
Well, and that's how we make anglers that are conservationists that
Yes.
want this. That's what I think the biggest thing in me being a CCA board member and just looking at it is that there's such misinformation. We as anglers, as captains, as owners in the fishing industry, it is more important to us than anyone else that these fisheries stay healthy. There is nobody that's looking out for these fisheries harder than we are. I can,
That's a
any
fact.
environmentalist,
Yep.
that's great. Most of them don't use the resource. They look at it on paper. That's all they know about it. For us, we're intimate with it. We've raised our kids on it. We've fed our families with it. If that goes away, our industry goes away. So there's nobody that's looking out for the fisheries and the health of our oceans more than the anglers.
That is such a great point, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
It truly is, because all three of us and everybody involved in this want to see our grandkids
Yeah.
have a life full of this kind of experience, and you don't have it if it goes
Tell
away.
them about
So
the CCA Star Tournament.
please.
Well, so last
that
year,
like button.
it's actually really interesting because you don't need to, while you can catch a lot of fish and you register them, you use that digital app to kind of measure them and submit them. Last year I caught 2 halibut and I submitted them, and I was making a joke to Chris, the new guy the new president of CCA,
Yeah, right.
here locally, that I only entered 2, and he said the guy that won the boat only entered 1 fish.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's
It's
everybody's
everybody,
tournament.
right?
You don't have to be the expert that catches the largest bass.
Yes, right.
Right.
I like that, by the way.
They're giving away a nice Parker. I mean, it's like a $40 membership, and then
Yeah.
boom, you're automatically entered into this. I think it starts the Memorial Day weekend, goes to Labor Day weekend.
The signups will be at the show. Right when you come in the show, if you turn to the right, that 18-foot Barker that they're giving away is right there.
Oh, so everybody
And it's
can
fully
see it.
loaded,
That's
right?
right.
It's fully
It's a
loaded.
beautiful boat.
It's a beautiful boat.
And just so everybody understands out there, you don't have to catch the biggest fish
No.
to win it. You're in the drawing. You're
Right.
in it with one entry.
With one entry.
That is pretty darn
Everybody's
cool.
in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You download the app. It's, I think, Fishing Chaos. And you take a picture of the fish. When you join, they give you a measuring tape. You put that on the boat. You lay your fish out. You take an aerial shot of it, click, and submit it. And boom, you just find your category, whether it's bonita, barracuda, halibut, whatever. It's really simple, really easy, and it's a lot of fun. You can kind of follow it over the summer.
Yeah, fantastic.
Raising money for the nonprofits, that's one of the coolest things. You've got Brian with Mission Fish.
Yes,
You've got Friends
great
of
guy.
Rollo there.
Yes.
You've got War Heroes on Water. We've got
What's that? Healing Waters.
Healing Waters.
we have, God, there's so many organizations. The NRA is there. So many organizations that raise funds to either help our wounded heroes, to help fight for our rights to continue to be outdoorsmen, to it's just one thing after another. And like I was saying before, I think, don't have your Starbucks for a couple weeks. Save a little bit of that money and,
Yeah.
and
There you go.
give to these guys and help them, like Friends of Rollo, getting kids out fishing. What a better, hey, there's nothing better.
Yeah, it's really grown into a full, complete show for the entire family, and for the hardcore guy, the guy that wants to get into bass fishing maybe and check it out. If you want to learn about rod wrapping, catch a trout in the trout pond, it's really it's been fun to be involved.
Is there anybody more deserving on the face of our earth than the men and women who serve
No.
our country? You talked about the national anthem.
Yeah.
Man, those guys,
He-
they've been maimed, they've laid their life on the line. Every single one of them, when they join, know that it could be a matter of life and death, and they still do it to protect all of us and this lifestyle, this fishing lifestyle. Without them, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, the time that I spent on the boats during the War Heroes deal, it's just amazing. These guys, they are so humble. They don't want attention. I think you see tears in their eyes with the big parade, and to see how many people really care about what they've gone through. I think a lot of them don't know that. Yeah. And I think a lot of them, actually a guy from my town came down with me year before last, and I was on the boat with him. And you just look, and it's the things that are talked about out there, and these guys, they really feel like they can share with other guys that have experienced what they've experienced. And a lot of them live in small towns and in places where they don't get to talk.
Yeah.
And to find out that a lot of our veteran services are not taking care of these guys the way they should, it's shocking.
Yeah, 100%.
Super upsetting.
I mentioned up front that it probably take 2 days for an average person to cover everything, maybe even 3 days.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't think we can cover everything in this one podcast.
Yeah.
But is there anything that we've left out that you want to hit on? Anything else? We've covered a lot.
We pretty much covered it.
And we've left a lot out there. There's still a lot of stuff to explore.
One of the biggest things is this new Pacific building that we've added. It's behind the OC Promenade. So it goes, the buildings are a horseshoe shape. So if you go to the left, you start in the Huntington Beach building, Santa Ana Pavilion, onto the Costa Mesa, into the hangar, around to Anaheim, OC Promenade. There's a building behind there now called the Pacific building. We have brands like Mustad in there, big tackle dealers, our seminar stage, our Daiwa seminar stage with some of our main seminars, sport boats, bass, trout, all that stuff's going to be in there. And then you go back into the Los Alamitos building. It makes this total horseshoe, and you start to the right, it's just the reverse of what I said. So it has a nice flow to it. You have the opportunity to go out, sit, listen to the band, like he said. Every building is like going to a new show. So it's exciting, it's new, it's fresh. Everywhere you walk in, you're like, wow, this is different. Oh, there's this in here. And every building has a little bit for everybody. Yeah. There's freshwater, saltwater, travel, boating stuff in every building.
Yeah, and the fact that you can sit out and listen to some music and have
So we added another live band, a whole food court.
Really?
Back by this new Pacific building.
Right.
Another live band. There's a full Mexican restaurant back there, full bar.
The whole bit.
Yeah, it's just a lot of hangout.
You just hang out and have fun.
Coronado Brewing and Salty Crew have a social hub area out by the center part with the main band where their draft truck is, to come and hang out, talk to your buddies, sit on the, just hang out.
A bunch of great food trucks, like premium food trucks.
Our food there is better than
anywhere.
Any venue we've ever been to, because we don't have to just use the facilities there. We have a barbecue guy that is incredible. Seaside Smokehouse. We have
carnivore diet, man.
There you go, dude.
I like the teriyaki
Get it early.
I'm going to.
Yeah, he runs out. So I like the teriyaki chicken bowls.
There's
hot dog on a stick. There's brands that you recognize. This year we've added a coffee guy.
Yeah.
Shaved ice. We've added a
shave
ice guy coming down that does the true Hawaiian style shave ice.
His name, he's got a great name.
The ice cream, it's called Ice Shavy. He's going to be right in the middle for your kids, for you. It's going to be hot this weekend.
Saturday's supposed to be 80.
Wow.
It's going to be wild.
That's great.
We've never had weather that warm for the show yet, and it's packed every time.
Yeah.
So.
It should be fun.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, are there shooting sports? Do you have any of that going on at the show?
We are just starting to add in. There are some hunting booths, just a few. Our whole core thing is that we never want to thin out anything that we've grown from, but we want to add to, which is why we're adding areas to be able to bring in new types of ideas. So a little bit of that. I think next year there might be some more hunting lodges. There's a couple. Most of the ones that we have now also offer fishing and hunting in Alaska, so it's a combination deal. But it is a growth area. We actually, Mike and I flew back to Nashville to the SCI show, talked to a few of the guys back there, and man, those guys are excited to come out here and meet the Southern Cal. They put on one heck of a show back there. And these vendors there were like, wow, we'd love to get into that market, and we'd love to meet those people.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Super cool. So that'll probably be an addition next year.
And that's what's so great about the fairgrounds. It's very conducive to adding, you have a vision, you can kind of look at it back. There's lawn areas, there's trees, you can put trout ponds, you can put fly rod, casting areas. I think there's a lot of potential for more growth.
I think it's going to continue to grow, huh?
I think that fly fishing thing might be an area too.
Yeah, fly fishing, hunting, overland, there's so many things that we can do. We're just growing at a pace to where everybody still feels a part of the family. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, is every email we send out, it's PCS vendor family. I mean, these people, again, we're so thankful to have them, and we take our jobs very seriously to make sure that their experience is the best they have at any show.
All right, perfect. Anything else?
Sportsfishingfestival.com.
Yep, sportfishingfestival.com.
That's where you buy your
tickets, seminar schedules, vendor list with booth numbers. Everything you need is there.
Should I hit them one more time on
with
this?
With the dates.
Yes, hit the dates.
March 6th through the 9th, Thursday and Friday, 12 noon to 7. Saturday 10 to 7 and Sunday 10 to 5.
All right,
Orange
if you-
County Event Center,
Yes.
Fair and Event Center.
I love this place, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely
Easy
awesome.
parking. It's right off the exit off the freeway. It's less than a block off the freeway there. It's just conducive to get in there and have fun.
And the thing I love about what I've heard today is freshwater, saltwater, novice, expert, family fun,
Sport
reptiles,
boats, private
sport
boats,
purchase a boat.
everybody,
Yeah.
And we're leaving something out, I know, because people can come here and explore for themselves.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
go ahead.
amazing. We have to talk about for just
Please,
the amazing
I wanna
deals,
keep going
the
here.
amazing deals that
Yeah.
are there from these manufacturers and from these retailers.
What a dope I am. That's what people are tuning in
Right,
for.
right.
The
They,
deals.
literally, there's I don't know.
Why'd you let me forget that, Bill?
A giant line of people that wait to get there. They line up early because then they have a product that's on
Beeline,
sale.
right,
They're
for
going
what they
right
want.
to it.
Yeah.
There's real companies giving away
Yeah.
rail rods and
Yeah.
extra rods
Yes.
and the free Spectra and any reel that you buy at the
Yeah.
show, no matter which
Yeah,
manufacturer.
Daiwa's got amazing specials.
Every retailer has tons of
everybody.
specials.
Yeah, Penn, they all have them.
Turner's has them.
Turner's has an
Fishing
amazing.
Landing Tackle.
Yep.
Catch 'em,
Fisherman's.
Melton.
Yeah, we have at Fisherman's Access. Actually, we
Access.
moved them into the to the hangar building. They have like an 80-foot booth. They're working with Grundids
Jeez.
and Major Craft, and they have a 40-footer.
Yeah. So they've become our
hub there.
our retail hub for that building now.
Oh my God.
So if you're
that
looking for a
sounds great.
deal,
You're going to find it.
You're gonna find
You're
it.
going to find lots. I was telling people I would walk that show a little bit and look at everyone and make your decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
and stay off. Don't have too many beers and walk around with a wallet.
Yeah, you need to take it easy. Make sure you have, you're focused. You don't want to buy that boat you shouldn't have bought. You want to buy the boat you should buy.
I tell people at the Orange County Fair, they'll come up and say, what's the best food here? And I'll say, you need to walk around. Don't eat anything. Because you're going to fill up and you're going to go, oh my God, I should have. And that's the same advice you're giving people about the show, finding good deals and everything else.
Yeah,
All right. Anything else?
I think we got
got
it.
I'm not letting
Feel
you
pretty
get away
good.
with one thing. Give me an over-under number on the number of albacore that will be taken this year on Southern California sport boats and private boats. It'll be hard to do, but
So-
is that number 1,000?
What was it last year? What was it? Was it
500?
5 last year? We caught.
I think there was a few more than that.
I'm
Probably
gonna
like
s-
15.
I'm going to say from the anchovy standby, there's probably going to be millions of anchovies put on sport boats.
Yeah.
Millions of
We're
anchovies.
not talking about anchovies, God
Oh,
darn it, Bill.
albacore. I'm not going to get into that.
Come on, give me an over-under, man, so people can follow you the
It would
rest
be
of the year.
neat to see. I mean, I feel like in the past,
500?
it's been a traditional thing that we have kind of a transition year where you get a little bit of both when they're coming back,
Right.
Yeah.
or when it turns over to the warm water years and we get, the yellowfin going. I know my last year that I caught an albacore, I think was 09 or something like that. And off a dolphin school, we caught a bluefin, an albacore, and a yellowfin off the exact same dolphin
Frickin'
school.
awesome.
So you
Yeah,
get
that's
that really
crazy.
cool
That's
transition
cool.
year. So who knows? I mean, last year we had a few. I mean, if this is a real transition year, maybe it's a couple hundred, and then it turns into a real season. But man, I miss catching those with my dad.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Guys, I have totally enjoyed this. Mike,
Thank you, Phil.
thank you so much.
been a
Bill,
good time.
pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. PCS show coming
fun.
up.
We
You are
appreciate
not
it.
going to want to miss it. One more time again, sport fishing. What is it?
Sports
To buy
fishing.
tickets?
Sportfishingfestival.com.
Not sports.
Sports fishing. That's
Sport,
sport fishing.
not sports fishing.
Well, I have a little bit of that.
He adds the
Not
S.
plural.
No S.
Okay.
No S.
Sportfishingfestival.com.
Sportfishingfestival.com. Hit that like button. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything.
See you later, bud.
All right, we'll see you at the show.
Absolutely.
there.
Looking forward to it.